2-inch lift, 33s, apparently not actually 33s. Super handy, being able to like do long range shooting out of it. That's called USIC, walrus penis. So I just hacked off the steps. Poor man's rock sliders, basically. Howdy, my name is Will Stelter. I'm a professional knife maker and YouTube content creator.
And while we will jump into the build on his 2017 Toyota Tacoma, we want to talk more about what he does for a living, kind of how the Tacoma fits into his lifestyle. So we're actually gonna head into his shop and check it out.
So every knife starts here. This is the forging area. And so I'll either heat it up in my propane forge or my 25 kilowatt induction forge. And then I'll build out either billets of Damascus or just straight raw steel. It'll go into one of either the big power hammer, the little power hammer, or the 25-ton forging press. And from there, I'm able to manipulate the patterns in the steel to be able to create beautiful and unique Damascus, which is something that I really heavily focus on.
All of this stuff is old. Like this whole practice is old.
Very much so.
Like, what's the normal age of a piece of equipment in here?
I'd say, like, averaging it out, probably like 1970.
But like a lot of this stuff, like you can't just buy that.
No. So
right?
they don't make hammers this big unless it's made in China for like Chinese manufacture. This is about the only place to be able to buy.
So they don't come back over to the States?
Not so much anymore. So this was built in 1924, 1917. I found this frozen up in a shop in Eureka, California, out on the coast. Brought it back, completely tore it apart, redid the main bearings, made new rollers for it, and just reconditioned everything so that it would actually function, and then built the entire drive system for it from scratch. So usually after a knife is done in the forging area, then it'll come over to either the grinding room or the machining area back here. So back here I've got my Bergmaster drill press, which is old school, like pre-CNC for sure. Being able to switch around, you can run your normal drill bit and then a reamer and then a tap.
Whoa, it does it live.
That was a super common machine in machine shops back in the day when you needed to be able to do a bunch of different things but only wanted to have the space of one machine. Back here I've got a pantograph, which is another old school version of what, pre-CNC technology. It's basically a tracer mill, but it allows you to either repeatedly cut out and machine on parts.
So it's wire fed or rope fed.
Yeah, that's the drive belt for it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what RPMs are you seeing with it's literally a rope.
Up to 20,000.
Really?
Yeah. I've never run it that fast. That
when you
scary.
really hog on stuff, does it slip?
You can't really hog on stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's more like detail finish work.
For the most part.
So originally we kind of wanted to walk through here really quick and just show you, hey, look at all this cool stuff, and then we got full nerd on everything in here. So while we're here, we have to look at your cabinet of oddities.
Sure, let's do it. To the cabinet of really weird stuff, which is a lot of fossilized materials, meteorites, stuff like that. A lot of what's in here is either mammoth ivory or walrus ivory. So it's fossilized, super old, absorbed minerals from the earth to get funny colors. But the thing that everyone wants to look at and touch, obviously Graham wants to get a big old handful of that. That's called USIC. It's also walrus penis.
When someone's choosing walrus penis, is it ironic? Or is it actually a desirable material?
It's actually a good material. So it's a fossilized bone. So it's
yeah.
So it is. This is another chunk that's had the bark ground off of it.
And so bark?
Yeah, like the crusty stuff on the outside there.
They all have them. Who are we kidding?
This is the circumcised USIC. No, it's kosher. This is the kosher USIC. And so it does have a nice color, like it's got, cool, interesting colors in there. But we got all kinds of other fun stuff in here. This is the rib from a cave bear, extinct bear species. This is a Steller's sea cow bone. Lots of walrus ivory, lots of good mammoth ivory. So this is a mammoth tusk.
Yeah, and before we hop out into the truck, let's check out like a finished product.
Sure, got this guy right here. This is a little bit outside my norm. I don't do a ton of like daggers or super art knives, but this is a dagger with a reconstructed ladder pattern, 500 layer Damascus guard and pommel, fossilized walrus ivory handle, and 14 karat gold twisted wire inlays. I mostly do chef's knives. I like being able to do stuff that people are gonna use, but it is really fun to build an art knife every now and again.
So last night we got kind of caught up talking about things like the walrus's gentleman's sausage. And by the time we went outside to look at the camper, it was already dark. So we met up tomorrow, to go over to go over this camper. This is a really straightforward build, right?
Yep, super simple. The only thing that I've done to the actual truck is 2-inch lift, 33s, but they're apparently not actually 33s because they're by BFG. So
a little small.
Yeah.
Everybody measures different.
Yeah.
But this whole episode is like this. So you started with a 2017 Tacoma. So it's got an automatic trans V6, just kind of standard kit. So what'd you do to change it from stock?
Yeah, so because I'm either pretty much on a dirt road or like on a gnarly road up in the mountains or going 80 down the freeway, I didn't want to go too big with the tires or with the lift or anything like that. I wanted it to still ride good and still get decent gas mileage. So I've got 33-inch BFG KO2s, a 2-inch Bilstein lift. That's kind of the only thing that I've done to the ride of it, and it definitely rides a little nicer. It took away a little bit of MPG, but not a whole lot.
Totally.
Yeah.
So did you put side steps on this, or are these rock sliders?
So it came with the side steps, and then the first trail that I did, I busted them off.
Yeah.
I busted one of them off completely, and so I just hacked off the steps and was left with this as...
It does look better than the factory steps.
Yeah, as poor man's rock sliders, basically.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it kind of serves a... Hopefully it doesn't hit the cab purpose.
Yeah, but even if it does, it'll spread that load over a little bit better, so.
Yeah, and then did you do anything to the rear with the leaf pack?
Yeah, we added one leaf in the back to kick it up a little bit, give me a little bit better. I think at the point that I did the lift, I had just gotten the camper, and so just to kind of help bolster up the back end a little bit.
Yeah, especially because you're hauling a bunch of gear around.
All the time. I overload this bed all the time. That's kind of my big use for it, honestly, is being able to drive across the country all over the place and fill it up just absolutely completely. But honestly, the topper part of the camper has been like just incredibly useful, being able to fill it up. You know, if I wanted to do a cardboard run from the shop, used to be I could fill it up this much, and now I can fill it up more than twice that amount.
And then I see you have the camper's basically stock except for that backwoods molly panel.
Yeah, so just that super rad 1/4-inch aluminum panel back there, and I keep fire extinguisher, kinetic rope, and with shackles and hooks and stuff like that, and then just jumper cables hooked up to that right now. I should probably utilize that a little better and throw an axe back there or something like that.
So yeah, let's see what you have in the back here.
So this is very, very usual. Normally I have one more box of like gear in there with wrenches and more tie down straps and chain binders and stuff like that. And just like a couple little bit of extra recovery gear. But I've got my Max Tracks, which are pretty dang handy around here, especially in the winter time. And then just a bunch of shooting gear. So I've got 3 target stands, the uprights, and then a box of cardboard USPSA targets, and then my range belt, bunch of ammo, stuff like that. And that's honestly, it kind of lives back there because it means that I can run out to the range and get some practice in for competition stuff kind of whenever I want. And that's super, super handy. I keep my bedding for the camper up above.
Sweet, so it's stored in the tent all the time.
Pretty much, yeah. And it's just enough that on one road trip last year, I drove to Florida and back, and on the same trip, I slept with all the windows open, 75 degrees in Florida. Absolutely beautiful. It was so nice to like wake up in the jungle, the birds chirping, all that. And then the last night that I spent it on the way back, it was -10 in Wyoming. So, but I had the same bedding the whole time, but just being able to like layer up was,
yeah, totally. Yeah, do you want to pop this thing open? We'll show how that works.
Super straightforward setup. We've got, just one 20-degree bag, another down blanket, another comforter, another soft blanket, and then a little pillow up there. Yeah, this is super, super handy. Being able to like do long range shooting out of it as well. So I can roll up to a spot, pop it open, lay down. You got a nice like sniper's hide. Not quite, because it's bright orange. But yeah, it's really a kind of a do-it-all rig, and it does everything that I want it to do, and it's comfortable the whole time, and it's, freaking awesome.
So Will, thanks for taking us through your kind of Spartan off-road, everyday work truck build. And if you guys want to check out any more of Will's build series, his knife making, or his machine restoration, what's your channel?
Just Will Stelter. Yeah.
And we'll link it in the description below.
Thank you, Graham.
So, dude, thanks for coming by.
Appreciate it.